TCI is brought to you by TaylorMade Stallion Forestry, the only son of Stormcat to sire a classic winner.
Welcome back to TCI, your inside track to the Triple Crown alongside Joel Cunningham. I'm John Siegel. Joel, before we talk about this weekend's race, the Gotham, where we're going to see Overanalyze making his 3-year-old debut, let's recap last weekend's races. We had the Risen Star and also the Fountain of Youth. I want to start off with the Fountain of Youth because it had the most impact on the TCI top 10. You know, we start off looking right here on your new list. We see Violence is gone, Orb roars onto the list in the number 4 spot.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're always going to face attrition this time of year with horses, going by the wayside, whether it be injury or what have you. Unfortunately, Violence, everybody knows the sesamoid injury. Now, I thought he ran a great race, John. To come back in his 3-year-old debut, track a quick pace like we thought that was going to be set by Majestic Hussar in there, pounce, and show some courage, I thought, late to finish inside the 16th pole, despite now we know he was definitely injured in the race. So he has to come off the list. Everybody kind of moves up for me. That's the way this list was built. So flashback now, number 1. And you see Orb forging into that top 5, John. Orb's a colt that we've talked about. We've been impressed with. I liked this Saratoga form last year as a 2-year-old. I've liked him since he stretched out. And remember, he didn't get Lasix at 2. He now gets it at 3. He's constantly improved. And I just think that, for him, a lot of people want to criticize the speed ratings or whatever. He beat a hurt horse in Violence in the Fountain of Youth. Give Orb a little bit of credit here as we go to the Twin Spires TV race replay. And we take a look at the stretch run here, John. And Orb saved all the ground, but he showed enough tactical speed, ran a good 3rd quarter to stay in contact here in John Velasquez. You see here, he comes up and collars Violence. Now, Orb has a hanging problem. You see when he makes the lead, and I've noticed this in past races, he doesn't put horses away. You see Violence comes back on him here, but he got the job done. Anytime a closer wins at Gulfstream, I give him credit. I don't care what the speed figure is. His brisk rating wasn't bad. He got 102 brisk rating. That's his lifetime best by far. He's constantly getting better. He was cutting back from mile 8 to mile 16. I think over a more fair track that plays fairly to closers, his best races are still in front of him. It's a Shug McGahee training style. A lot of talent here. He belongs in the top 5. And the class rating was pretty good in the race, too. 121.1 in terms of the brisk class rating. So it was a good race.
All right, let's move now to the Risen Star. We went into the weekend thinking the Risen Star would be the best race. Do you think that form held up?
John, I do. A lot of people are going to form. You'll see opinions across the board on the stretch on the Risen Star. Oh, there were about 8 horses that finished within 4 lengths of each other at the wire. That's a sign of a bad race. I agree. It usually is. But consider the way that track was playing. If you paid attention to it, they got a lot of rain at Fairgrounds. It was drying out, and I used to work there, John. I've seen it get like this before. It's very tiring, and I think there was a clear bias on the track. I think you wanted to come from off the pace down about the 5th or 6th pass, closing down the crown of that track. We go to the Twin Spires TV race replay, and we'll take a look here. And it is a cavalry charge, turn for home. You see Palace Malice, horse that I thought was in a great spot here. But to me, he runs very greenly, John. 4 wide, he got a great trip, but he swaps over to his wrong lead, back and forth. He has his head cocked. To me, he never straightened out and ran his best race, in my opinion. I don't know if the track was tiring. Maybe he bounced off his debut. Maybe he's still green. I don't know. You see here, 4 coming to the line, and you're 135 to 1 shot. I've struck a nerve. Now your points leader, 51 points on the Derby Trail, wins at 135 to 1. Incredible. A lot of people are going to criticize this race, like I said, but again, I thought Oxbow ran great. He's a horse that you saw in the TCI top 10 move down to number 6 for me, but I was impressed with his performance despite he was off the board. I mean, for him to be 5-6 wide in the turn, make a premature move, was wide down the backstretch. He's a horse that ran on, and he and Palace Malice both galloped out very well. So I think going forward that Oxbow and Palace Malice here at number 10, they're staying on my list. I'm sticking with them for now because I saw enough excuses between the 2 of them that I still like the talent. I think that they can move forward. But when we're talking about brisk ratings here, it was rated as a good race. I've struck a nerve, got a 98. That's on the tad slow side, but the class rating was still 119.2. So I think this race is going to be good. I think you're going to see a couple horses come out of it. Next time out, that'll surprise you. Run well.
Well, I noticed you said that the brisk rating was good. You said it's going to be a good race, but I noticed the winner not on the TCI top 10.
No, but I think he'll make the Derby gate. I mean, 51 points, I do think at this point, without question, I've struck a nerve. They talked about booking their tickets to Louisville for hotels. I think they can comfortably do that.
Well, you just mentioned that, here's a horse, 135 to 1. He's going to make the Derby gate. Let's talk about the Gotham now. It's a good transition. We have 5 horses in here, Joel, that are maiden winners. They could also earn enough points to get into the gate. It doesn't look like the strongest field, even though we do have 2 very talented horses in Vyjack and also Overanalyze.
I think it's about a typical Gotham field in most years, John. You have a pretty good sized field in here, 11 horses. You have 3 talented horses from the Kieran McLaughlin barn that have won at Aqueduct, but they're young horses. They're just maiden winners, but big-time pedigrees and connections. Big-time yearling auction purchases have all the potential in the world to stretch out around 2 turns. So you have that mix of horses in with accomplished horses like Vyjack. Undefeated, obviously a stakes winner, won the Jerome last time out, a grade 2. But in my opinion, when I look at Vyjack, I think he's very talented, but he's out of a Stravinsky mare. He's so honest that he'll be in the mix here, John, but I really question if 2 turns is his game. To me, his worst race was in the Jerome last time out, going around 2 turns. So Vyjack, for me, is a horse that has to prove that he can stay in this race. I do think Overanalyze is your deserving favorite in here. I question that Remsen form still to this day, but he has a good foundation. Coming in here with John Velazquez, he draws outside, he has good speed, should be able to get the trip that Johnny V wants. He's definitely your horse to beat in here, but I'm not sure he's completely the goods. Again, I'm skeptical of the Remsen form, John. That's why he's not in our top 10. So I need to see him come back very strongly. And the 3 Kieran McLaughlin horses I mentioned, I do think there's some talent there. I think one of them is going to step up and run big in here. I don't know which one it is. Now and Then might be the one I'm leaning to, but I do think one of them is going to step up and surprise in this race.
All right, thank you, Joel, and thank you guys for watching. Make sure you come back next week. We'll recap the Gotham, and we'll also preview the Tampa Bay Derby and the San Felipe.